Tony, we'll put your keep on. You on a bad day.
Yeah, it's true. You know that means more than that.
Oh yeah. Look at my eyes. Look at my eyes. Do I look upset?
Totally. And by the way, is that position of the piano okay?
I would move it back a little bit, but
Can
if
we
you
move
need
it this way?
If you need it, then
How about that way better? Out of your way a little bit? Like forward would be better.
if you need it for this side, we should all move it on that side. Is what we should do. Yeah, we should. We are going to get moving, I think. Rocking and rolling, as they say.
We're going to have some fun that night.
We're going to have fun tonight, too, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I was talking about the instruments I was bringing.
Great.
That Anthony gave us such good leads.
Good. That's terrific.
Right. What's that, dude?
Just made 3 copies.
That's good.
Because sometimes, it walks away.
That's okay.
We need it, so. All right. Well, we are going to get started. And I know I hate to interrupt people. It's like we don't get to talk and see each other as much as we certainly would like to. So I hate to interrupt any conversations. But now, when I stood here a week ago, the sun was in my eyes at this very moment, and look where it is, now near you. So
Rabbi,
it just tells you what happens within a week's time of
Rabbi, I see the light.
You see the light. I saw it last week. It's your turn. Yeah, so the sunlight comes through the windows, and last week I was in a spotlight, and everyone told me who watched on camera, and I guess who was sitting here, and no one said anything, that my glasses are audit, whatever they do. They're photo grade, right? So I had you can hear me here. Can you hear me now? Okay. Shh. So we were talking about the sun coming through. So I had my sunglasses on last week because it was shining up here. Today it's on the cantor. So we're going to get going, and as you see, we are masked, and we even on the Bema are trying to be as careful as we can for one another and for just everyone here. So we're going to stay masked as much as we can, but take it off as needed, certainly to do the davening. And I will try to be as clear into the microphone as I can. But we're going to get going with a little bit of Ruach as Cantor Ken leads us this evening.
I'd like you to take your arms next to the people who are hopefully in your pods and safe, and put your arms around them. Put your arms around the person next to you, and we're going to sing. Now, if you're alone, the rabbi and I are hugging you from here. These are big hugs. We're going to sing that beautiful psalm text. We're all here together to celebrate Shabbat as a community. Hine Matov. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim. You got to sing and sway. Shevet Achim Gam. Let's do that again from the top. Hine Matov u'manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim Shevet Achim Gam. Now tighten that hug. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. Say good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom to your neighbor.
Shabbat Shalom. We turn to, unless we have a different one that I don't know about, we turn to page 5. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, page 5, you will find Shalom Aleichem as we join together the bottom of 5.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zeitchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Very nice. You'll turn back in your Siddur to page 4. There you will find the blessing, the bracha for lighting the candles. This evening we rise.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la.
You may be seated. We turn to page 11. There you'll find the formal beginning of Kabbalat Shabbat as we join Lechu Neranena.
Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena l'Adonai. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena l'Adonai. Naria, Naria, Litzur Yishenu, Nekadma Fana Betoda. Naria, Naria, Litzur Yishenu, Bezmirot Naria Lo. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena Adonai. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena Adonai.
page 16, you'll find Or Zarua.
Or Zarua, Latzadik, Uyishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua, Latzadik, Uyishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua, Latzadik, Uyishrei Lev Simcha. Uyishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua, Latzadik, Uyishrei Lev Simcha. Uyishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua, Latzadik, Uyishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua, Latzadik, Uyishrei Lev Simcha.
Turn over to page 20. There you'll find the very end of the 99th Psalm. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu, exalt Adonai our God on God's holy mountain. We join together. Page 20.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Together. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho.
Ki
kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu.
Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu.
We got the Ruach going tonight. Page 21, you'll find Mizmor LeDavid, our 29th Psalm. We traditionally rise as we join together. Please rise.
This is a very Jewish-sounding song. Why? It uses a prayer mode called Ahava Rabbah, which, if you know, happens during the week and on Saturday morning. Does anyone here know the song Hava Nagila? All right, let me hear you sing that. Hava Nagila, Hava Nagila, Hava Nagila ve'nismecha. So I came to Texas a couple of weeks ago and I heard this song, and I want to make it very Hava Nagila-ish. Are you ready? All right, so it goes, as you know, like this. Mizmor LeDavid, Havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, Havu l'Adonai, Kavod v'oz, Yailai, Havu l'Adonai, Kevod shemo, Hishtachavu l'Adonai, B'hadrat Kodesh, Kol Adonai, Ahamayim, El HaKavod Hireim, Adonai, Al Mayim Rabim, Kol Adonai, HaKoach, Hayalai, Kol Adonai, Behadar, Kol Adonai, Shover Arazim, Vaishaber Adonai et Arzeh Halfanon, Vayar Kitem Kemo Egel, Levanon, Vesirion, כמו בן רמים, יאי, כל אדוני חוצף להבות אש, כל אדוני יחיל מדבר, יחיל אדוני מדבר קודש, כל אדוני יחולל איילות, ויחשוף יערות ובהיכלו כולו מרכבות איי עד אדוני למה בו ישב וישב אדוני מלך לעולם אדוני יוס לעמו ייתן אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום איי 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 Hava Nagila is 75 years old. People think that Hava Nagila is so old. It came from Hasidim 75 years ago. And we treat it like such a beautiful, as it is almost like a real Jewish sounding piece. You did well on that.
You may be seated. I don't know, are you ready for the ballparks? You know how they play Hava Nagila in the ballpark?
Yes.
I think we could take it on the road.
Do you guys want to go to the baseball game next week?
We turn to page 23. There you'll find Lecha Dodi, which is our hymn that welcomes in Shabbat as the bride or queen into our midst. We will join together for the first and second verse. We'll turn over to the middle verse on page 24 and the last verse on page 25. And when we get to that last verse, I'll give you the signal to turn and face the door, just as the Kabbalists did and do. The mystics would welcome in the bride or queen to our midst. We will do the same as we face the door and welcome in that figurative bride or queen to our midst this evening. So page 23 at the top.
Slow. Lecha Dodi li kerat kala b'nei Shabbat Kabbalat Shabbat li kerat kala b'nei Shabbat Kabbalat Shahamor v'zachor b'dibor echad Hishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad Shemo echad Shemu tiferet veliti la lecha dodi Likerat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi Likerat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Likerat Shabbat lechu v'nehelcha ki mehi mekor haberacha mehirosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshvatechi alecha dodi Likerat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi Likerat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Middle of 24.
Hitoreri kihiva orech kumiori uri shidaberi kevod Adonai alayich nigla lecha dodi Likerat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi Likerat kala.
We rise and face the door, the last verse on 25.
Bohoi v'shalom ateret bala Gam b'simcha u'v'tzohara Toch emunei am segu lecha dodi, vikerat kala, pnei Shabbat, nekabela lecha dodi, vikerat kala, pnei Shabbat, now faster, lecha dodi, vikerat kala, pnei Shabbat. Nekabela lecha dodi, vikerat kala, pnei Shabbat. Nekabela lecha dodi, vikerat kala, pnei Shabbat. Nekabela lecha dodi, vikerat kala, pnei Shabbat. Nekabela.
May be seated. Page 27, you'll find Mizmor Shir, our psalm for Shabbat, our psalm for the day, top of the page 27.
Mizmor Shir leyom HaShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Kegid baboker chastecha, ve'emunatcha ba'leilot, alei asor v'alei navel, alei higayon bechinot.
Mizmor Shir leyom HaShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon.
Mizmor Shir leyom HaShabbat,
tov lehodot l'Adonai,
ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Ki simachtan in Adonai befoalecha, b'maaseh yadecha haranei. Ma kadu maasecha Adonai, me'olam machshevotecha.
Mizmor Shir leyom HaShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon,
ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon.
You'll turn over to page 28. By the little arrow, you'll find the word Sadiq Hatamar. The righteous flourish like the date palm and thrive like the cedars of Lebanon. We join together, 28.
Sadiq Hatamar yifrach, Kerez balvanon yisker, shetuli beveit Adonai, techatrot Eloheinu yafrichu. Od Yehud b'seva, tishenim v'rananim yiyu lehagid ki yashar Adonai tzuri tzuri velo avla.
93, page 29.
Adonai Malakehu Lavesh Mikolot Maim Rabbi Madarim Shpereyam Adir Bamarom Adonai Edotecha Nemnu Me'olevedcha Nava Kodesh Adonai Leorech Yamin.
Those reciting Kaddish Tome, the Mourner's Kaddish, you'll find it on page 30. If you'll please rise, those reciting, and join with me. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Bialma divrach hirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala ubizman kariv v'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehi shmei rabba mevarach leolam olomei olmaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechamata Da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aset shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May be seated. So we have all heard it and even perhaps said it ourselves a couple of times. The old saying, and I'll warn you, I'll say it in the politically incorrect form to start, man does not live by, you know it, bread alone. Human being does not live by bread alone. What does it mean? Think about it. We say it, it's a common phrase, right? But really think about it for a minute. This old saying is actually a direct quote, believe it or not, taken from the Torah, from this parashah, from the parashah of Akev, which we study this Shabbat. To set the stage, so I want you to imagine for a moment, Moses continues with a long series of speeches to all of the Israelites standing before him. As we are in the book of Deuteronomy, he's giving his swan songs, his final speeches to the people, and he's reminding them of the responsibilities they have as they prepare to enter a new chapter in their lives in a new land. So we might imagine ourselves sitting among the crowd listening to Moses. So transport yourself back a few thousand years to the edges of the promised land as the crowd is gathering around and you're listening to Moses. Now, some of us sitting here may be in awe of this 120-year-old man, this great individual who led our people out of Egypt to Sinai and now to the edge of the promised land. Some of us may be taken aback by the passion that this elderly gentleman has for his mission. And others of us are probably rolling our eyes, trying to keep from being totally bored, wondering why Moses keeps droning on and on. We get the fact that he won't be entering the promised land, with us, of course, but maybe it's time for him to just step aside and let it all be. And then in the midst of his charge, Moses moves on to a topic that is certain to catch our attention: food. Moses declares, God subjected you to the hardship of hunger and then gave you manna to eat, which neither you nor your ancestors have ever known, in order to teach you that, lo al halechem levado yihiyeh ha'adam. A person does not live by lechem, by bread alone, but that the human being may live on anything that God decrees. Food. Yes, finally a topic I can wake up and relate to. Now we may see the word lechem, hamotzi lechem, min haaretz, right? When we say our blessing over our bread, we may see it as representing the same old thing. Bread isn't enough, if we translate it according to the text. We need variety. Think back to what happened early on after the Exodus, as the Israelites journeyed. Those of you who know your Torah back from the book of Exodus, what did they complain about? They complained about the manna, right? We're tired of the manna that fell every day. It was the same old thing every day. They told Moses, we want to go back to Egypt where we had fish to eat and cucumbers and melons and leeks and onions and garlic. Forget the fact we were slaves, but, we had just decent amount of variety of food. We can't live on this manna, this bread, this lechem alone. Human taste, human instinct tells us that we can't survive on just this lechem, just this bread. We need other things to eat. Now, we all enjoy having a choice of food, but I think there's much more going on here in our text. Moses may be talking not about needing a variety of different kinds of foods, but really of something different, of spiritual sustenance. Things like culture and art and music and beauty and nature and other food for the spirit and the soul. God readily understands that we cannot be satisfied with the ordinary, the regular, the mundane, the easy. We human beings need food that satiates our spirits and souls. We see creativity of thought and action. We need big things and even greater thinking if we are truly to live life meaningfully. Perhaps that's what it means. Perhaps that's what the verse means. At the same time, I think Moses is very cleverly giving us a lesson in ethics through God's words. Lechem, bread. It also symbolizes the most basic needs that we have. Lechem, we all need, right? We need sustenance. And bread is the most basic. Think about your matzah on Passover, the most basic thing we could eat. That's not even bread that we allowed to rise. Here, at least we get it to rise. But perhaps when Moses says we can't live by lechem alone, perhaps when God is saying you can't live by bread alone, God means that we should focus not only on our own basic needs, but on what others need as well. If we are to live a meaningful life, a spiritually fulfilling life, we can't focus only on our own needs. We must listen to those around us and consider the way they may approach life and pay attention and respond to those whose needs and desires, whose lechem differ than our own. So which explanation is correct? The need for spirit and sustenance, or the need to hear the voices and the other ideas of those around us? Which one? Thank you. Both. They're both. Both are. Both are correct. For the beauty of Torah is in the layers of meaning it provides. And we may imagine Moses smiling now. We're still in that crowd, knowing that not only did he wake up the crowd, he woke us up, he held our attention for a little bit with his mention of food, and hopefully I've kept you awake for a few minutes, but he showed us just what Torah study is all about. He helped us to see just how dynamic the Torah is, how much insight and food for thought, pun intended, the Torah may give us if we are open to exploring its values and applying them to our lives. So as we move through this Shabbat, and literally perhaps in a little while enjoy a challah as part of your Shabbat dinner, our lechem, our own bread, I hope you'll consider what that bread symbolizes and the messages, not just one, but the dual, even contrasting messages of our Torah. What do we need to make our lives meaningful beyond the most basic staff of life? And what do others around us need as fuel for their well-being too? Lo al halechem levado yihiyeh ha'adam. A person does not live on bread alone. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
We move forward into our evening service as we rise and we turn to page 39a and we add that sustenance for our soul, that musical sustenance, the words coming alive from off the page into our mouths, into our hearts, into our space. Page 39a, we rise.
et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach, hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Hamevorach, hamevorach le'olam va'ed.
You may be seated.
Umahavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzevaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, Tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam eved, Baruch atah Adonai, Amariv Aravim.
Page 40.
Hem chayenu v'yorech yameinu, uvahem nega yamam v'layla, v'ahavatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
41.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. 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 Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad.
Join in the V'ahavta together on 41.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'otecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher nochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shiftecha b'veitecha v'lechtecha v'derech v'shochbecha v'kumecha v'gishartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha.
We join together in the English on 41 towards the middle. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all that is yours. These words that I command you this day shall be taken to heart. Teach them again and again to your children. Speak of them when you sit in your home, when you walk on your way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand and as a symbol above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. We continue over on page 44. There you will find Mi Chamocha, our words of jubilation sung as we cross the Red Sea into freedom from slavery in Egypt, page 44.
Let's begin with the beats. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya 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 la 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 la. Let's add some words. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh, no ratehilot, osefele, no ratehilot, osefele, achutecha, ra'u v'necha, okei ayam lifnei Moshe, Ze'eli anu ve'ameru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la la, ya la la la. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם ומלכותך ראו בניך בוקע ים לפני משה זה לי ענו ואמרו אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי פד אדוני את יעקב וגייסו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני כל ישראל.
Page 45, you'll find our second bracha after the Shema, our tefillah that asks for shalom, for peace as we go to bed in the evening. This used to be the bedtime prayer, and it was added into the evening service as a recognition of our need to certainly search for shalom as we end the day and we look to a new day when the sun goes down. The new day in our Jewish calendar begins. And so it's a prayer of optimism and a prayer of hope and a prayer certainly asking for shalom. So we join together in the English on 45 at the top. Allow us, Adonai, our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings. For you, God, watch over and deliver us. And you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Amen.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, leshalom. V'hamitenu malkeinu l'chayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us daily wrong from right. O Adonai. Amen. 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 Join me now. Amen. Good. Amen. 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 Amen.
It's a beautiful tefillah. Page 46, we rise as we join together in sanctifying this special day of Shabbat, a sign of the covenant we share with God. Page 46, you'll find at the top Vishamru, followed by Chatzi Kaddish.
Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael, et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheish yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Vayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Yitgadal ve'yitgadash shmei Rabbah. Amen. V'yalmad divrei chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon u'v'chayedecho beit Yisrael b'gala u'vizman kariv ve'yimeru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'olam me'almaya Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpoar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh ve'yithadar ve'yitaleh ve'yitalal shmei lekudisha b'richu le'ela min kol bechata ve'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran Bilma V'meru Amen.
You'll find the silent Amidah for this evening, beginning pages 47 through 51. As always, feel free to add your own personal thoughts and words to the words on the page, and when you're through, you're welcome to be seated. Again, 47 through 52. And you're welcome to be seated. We're on 51 in the middle.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Let's all join in. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon Lecho hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon Lecho hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
Page 173, you'll find our Mishaverach, our prayer for healing, for spiritual and physical and emotional healing, as well as healing of our world. We join together 173, Debbie Friedman melody, as we add, again, I mentioned earlier, adding our own personal thoughts and meditations to the words on the page of the Amidah. This is one way that we do indeed do that. 173.
shebeirach avoteinu mikor habracha lavoteinu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishebeirach imotenu mekor habracha Avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
If you'll turn back in your Siddur to page 54, there you will find our Kaddish Shalem.
Yitgadal v'yikadash mirabha.
Amen.
Pilamati v'rachinu tevi amlich malchutei b'chayechonu v'yomechonu v'chaylecho Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kari v'yimeru. Amen. Yehishmei Rabba mevorach. Ve'olam ulal me'almaya. Yiparach v'shtabach v'poar v'trum v'naseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei l'kudishah v'richu li'ela mikol bechata v'shirata tush bechata v'lechemata tamiram be'alma v'yimeru titgabel tzulot u'nevot u'lecho Yisrael kodam avon v'shamaya v'yimeru Shalom Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimeru. Amen. Amen.
Page 55, we rise as we take a cup of grape juice, in our case, in hand, and toast this wonderful Shabbat that we are beginning this evening. We hope to taste and enjoy the sweetness of Shabbat throughout the Shabbat, throughout tonight and tomorrow. 55 as we join. Thank you, sir.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kirishanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uv'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikroei kodesh zecher letziyat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta v'otanu kidasha mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha v'ahava uv'ratzon Inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. We remain standing as we turn to page 56 for Aleinu, as again we join together.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהן, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצר הארץ, ושבקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו לגבי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אלוהים, אמת מלכנו ותזורתו, הכרתו בתורתו, ידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת עינו. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. As we prepare to recite Mourner's Kaddish this evening, we continue to give our hugs of condolence and support to Rhonda Michelle on the death of her father, Erwin Katzman, and to David Fisher on the death of his father, Alec Fisher. We also mention the names of those whose yortzites occur today and in the week that will be coming. Brian Abelow, Mark Abelow, Carol Adler, Murray Altfass, Ralph Bean, Sonia Bresniak, Bronya Fuchs, Saul Gross, Enrique B. Herrera, Vera Heibaum, Jesse Karpf, Morton Landis, Renee Levy, Bishaya Magir, Joseph Markowitz, Louis Miller, Nell Morin, Marianne Nevelo Armstrong, Ruth Posner, Sylvia Schechter, Anna Simon, Millie Stern, Israel Teitelbaum, Ann Thaw, Berthier Rolfson, Lawrence Zucker, and Charles Zwern. If there are any names I did not recite, you're welcome to add them at this moment, whether out loud or in your hearts. As those reciting Kaddish Tome, if you'll rise and join with me on page 58. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, B'yalma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala ubizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach leolam olomei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May be seated. A few announcements for this evening. A reminder, as you saw, we've given everything going on outside our walls. We've dialed back just a bit so that we are all wearing masks, as you see and are experiencing, and we ask that we continue to do that in the building and be safe as we can be and following the CDC's recommendations. So we hope that we will be able to move back to where we had been, but in the interim, we're going to work to be safe as we can and hope that we keep that hope that we will be able to get back to some sense of normalcy. Or knowing that our masks may be normal. As Jody, you mentioned to me, this might just be what we're going to be doing for a little while. And you know what? That's okay. We're coming together and we're still being able to celebrate as a community. And that's the key for us. So, and with that note, we have our morning minyan each day, of course, and we are here in person in the chapel. So if you can come and help make a minyan, that would be wonderful. There's no more Zoom on Facebook in particular, but you can always watch on the live stream, 7:30 on weekdays, Sundays at 9 a.m. A special thing to on Sunday at 10:30, we will have the unveiling at the cemetery for Norman Wolfson. So I know the Wolfson family would certainly appreciate your support in helping to make a minyan and in being there in support of them, and certainly in the remembrance of Norman. So that is at 10:30 in the cemetery this Sunday morning. Also, some other important things. Believe it or not, it's only a couple of weeks. If you haven't bought your school supplies yet, and you need to, it's me. We need to go get that done. And we have, of course, IPRS registration. Our Into Posner Religious School registration is ongoing. Please turn in your paperwork. Yes, it's for me too. Sorry. Got to do that also. Check your weekly email for registration forms, and you can just send them back to Jessica in the office. We are excited. We'll be having our religious school starting on time this year, contrary to last year, and certainly we will be, again, with masks and safely. Their kids are going to have a fantastic year. We have a new director named Melanie Levy, who is just a dynamite administrator and educator, and we're very excited to start our new year in a few weeks. Also, a reminder that as part of education, you can check with the Federation website for a new program called Jew It Yourself. It's sponsored by PJ Library San Antonio, and they're teaming up with Jewish Learning Lab to bring you a new learning experience, Jew It Yourself. This program is designed primarily for interfaith families with children to have vibrant discussions about Jewish parenting and learning in an open, inclusive, and accessible manner from the comfort of your own living room. What's easier than that? You don't even have to go anywhere. But certainly, check in with the Jewish Federation website if you'd like. And again, although it's for PJ Library, which is a program that gives Jewish books to our little ones, certainly if you're planning a family, if you're thinking about a family, if you're a part of an interfaith family, then I think this program for you, whether or not, regardless of age of children or if you have kids or not. So feel free to check into that. There's also, on Sunday, August 8th, talking about kids, 3 to 5 p.m. at Brindle's Ice Cream here in San Antonio, open to all 6th through 12th graders, a U.S. Ice Cream in San Antonio. It's USYCE, but it's USY Ice Cream. They're going to have a little party, receive one small ice cream with a topping on USY, and you can, again, check your weekly email for more details or contact Jessica in the office. This is a great way to get our 6th through 12th graders together, and our regional director will be here at Brindle's to be able to enjoy some ice cream. So we'll get to know her. She's new as well, and it's a wonderful way to bring our kids back together. So if you know of a 6th through 12th grader, please feel free to come on and enjoy some ice cream. Final announcements, the Book of Remembrance. If you're trying to submit anything to get into our Book of Remembrance for our Yisker book, please note it's Friday, August 6th, so next week we need to get it in. You can also continue to purchase high holiday parking spaces. That's also for next week. And you can check your emails for more details or call the office, of course. And finally, we are reminding you about our Welcome Back weekend. We may have to adjust some things with it, but we are continuing looking forward to it. And we'll have lots of things going on that weekend. You've probably seen the emails, so just keep it in your on your calendar, and you can RSVP and sign up to help volunteer to help out as well for the weekend. Finally, we are updating our Misha Berach list. We did our Misha Berach here a little bit ago, and on Shabbat morning and on Mondays and Thursdays, we read all of the names of our Misha Berach who are Cholim. If you have a name that you know can be taken off the list, please call the office. We'd love to have an updated list, and there are a lot of names on there. We're hopeful that not everyone on there needs a special prayer for healing, that they've already hopefully attain some of that healing, and so we'd love to be able to take people off of our list if possible. So please let us know if you know a name that we can take off. Of course, you can let us know if there's somebody that needs to be added, and you can find the list on our website, by the way, and on our weekly email you can click and see the list as well. And there's also a copy of it in the back if you'd like to take one with you. I think that's it. I think I've talked enough. So with all of that, you can turn to page 2, are we doing 62, Gigdal?
We're going to do 211 today.
Ooh, mixing it up on me. Page 211, you'll find Adon Olam. We want to thank Anthony for leading us in piano this evening. And it's fun to watch. They're kind of new together. They're getting each other's rhythms, right? Cantor Ken for guiding us through the service.
You got rhythm.
Yeah.
You got rhythm.
Gershwin, I like it. And we thank Jody. I think you are our usher in the back, so we appreciate you being here and helping out our vice president on the board. So thank you so much. All right, well, we will end with 2:11, and I know there is a little bit of an oneg outside. We've moved it outside today, just again to be an abundance of caution and safety, but there is an ability to come out. And I know some of you are new. I've met a couple of you already, so please feel free to come outside and maybe not shake some hands, bend some elbows, right? And say Shabbat Shalom, and we'd love to know who you are. So page 211, Adon Olam.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Le'et Nasa V'chefzo Kol Hazai Melech Shemo Nikra Hazai Melech Shemo Nikra Yacharei Kichlot HaKol Levado Yimloch Lora Vehu Haya Vehu Hove Vehu Yiyeh B'tifara Vehu Yiyeh B'tifara Vehu Echad V'yein Sheni Lehamshir Lo Lehachbira V'li Reshit V'li Tachlit V'lo Ha'oz V'hamisra V'lo Ha'oz V'hamisra Vehu Eli V'chai Goli V'tzorchev Li Be'etz Hara Vehu Nisi Umanos Li Menat Kosi B'yom Ekra Menat Kosi B'yom Ekra Yado Afki Ruchi V'etishan V'yahira V'im Ruchi Geviyati Adonai Li V'lo Yira Adonai Li V'lo Yira.
Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, hey, Shabbat, Shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Have a wonderful Shabbat.
Yes, you need to meet these people.
1, 2, 3, 4,
That's it.
5, 6. Okay. And you failed me today. Why did you fail me today? You sound pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So you know, maybe the placement of the pianos, maybe it's further back. face